Hello, everyone. I already see some of you hopping on. Hello, Chelsea. Hi, Sonia. Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and get started since we're already a little bit into noon and I don't want to take up too much of your time, Jessica. So today's topic is creating and scheduling content through Canva. So thank you to everyone that's tuning in live and or watching the recording. So we'll go ahead and get started. As always, a huge thank you to Center for Rule of Affairs as being a sponsor for Grow Nebraska. Not only do they sponsor our Grow Nebraska trainings, but they're also just a great partner to work with. So feel free to visit cfra.org to learn more information about what they can do for you and your business. Our featured sponsor for the month of August is Aloe Fiber. You may see some stores in the town that you live in. We actually have a location here in Kearney. They're doing a lot of great things for communities, so be sure to check them out. Our featured member is Cellar 44 Wine Bar, and they joined Grow Nebraska in 2022, so just about last year. So if you're in the Omaha area, I highly recommend that you go check them out. I actually just turned 21, so I have not yet got to go check them out. But now that I'm 21, I'm definitely going to because Janelle says that she loved it when she went. And this week's presenter is Jessica Kraus, and she's the co-owner of Lossway Brewery in Holdridge. And now with me being 21, I can come have a drink because when we visited there, I was not able to drink, so I had to drink a soda. But she's also a board member of Grow Nebraska, so we are very grateful to have her a part of our board and have her to present today. So I'm going to stop my screen share and let you pop yours up.
Okay. All right. How does it look? Good? Okay. Thank you all for coming or for at least watching this later on. Be patient with me. This is my first webinar. So hopefully we get some good information for you guys. Today's topic is creating and scheduling content through Canva. So hopefully you all have a Canva account already. And I don't know if anybody has Pro, or I guess if you don't have Pro, but we'll kind of go off of both sides of what it would look like if you have Pro and if you don't have Pro. Obviously, if you have questions anytime throughout the webinar, please stop me and let me know. One thing that I do want to go over is obviously how to keep that branding consistent. So the goal in mind today is to start off with a sale or a event or some type of special that your business is hosting. And so obviously we're going to start that off with trying to get some type of inspiration for that. I always like to start with flyers just because that's kind of something that we hang up inside of our tap room pretty regularly. So throughout our tap room, in our bathrooms, we have a bulletin board in the back or even up front by the register. Your customers are who you are marketing to. So you want to have those things available in your location as much as possible. So first thing we're going to do is move this out of the way. Let's move it up to the side, maybe. Okay, down here. So first thing we're going to do, when you're in Canva, you can obviously kind of look at things based off of size. So you can always just hit create design up here or go through custom size. Usually whatever you use the most is going to probably be up on this very top part. But for today, we're just going to kind of go through all of the specifics and start with that. So today we're going to do a flyer. So it's going to be this one here, 8.5 by 11. I'll take you over to another page. In this one, when we're kind of getting inspiration for something, I always look at the templates. I mean, if you have something created in your mind, that's awesome. Great. Go with that. If that seems to be your strength, absolutely. If you're having a hard time trying to come up with that, definitely utilize these templates over on the side. The great thing about Canva is when you have that pro version, you can always use your branding right here. You can tie in your specific colors, fonts, logos, all of that will be right there. So anytime you find a template that you like, you can easily click on this branding option and make it specific to your business. So let's see, today we are going to create a flyer. Does anybody have something that you want to create, or should I just make something up? I don't know how many people are watching this live, so let's do okay. Lost Way Brewery just switched our hours, so we just got open for lunch. So we're going to do a flyer saying that we're open for lunch, and then we're going to create a header for that for our Facebook, and we're also going to create an Instagram story for that as well. But the goal is to keep that branding consistent, and then we're going to schedule all of that out either using Canva or using Meta Business Facebook Suite. So first thing we're going to do, we'll go into two different options. So option number one is looking at templates. So we're going to say lunch here. Now open for lunch. Exactly. It's kind of what we're looking for. Obviously, we don't have spaghetti or chicken or French fries, so we'll probably switch those images out. But if you're the one who is typically creating those that branding or that marketing for your business, you're going to want to try to keep that as consistent with everything as possible. So I don't really use a lot of cartoons in my marketing, so this isn't something that I would want to use for this. We typically use, things like this, more of those squares. So whatever appeals to your business and what you've been consistent with as far as marketing goes, that's what you're going to want to do. You don't want to switch it up too often. If you think about big businesses like Coca-Cola, Burger King, places like that, they keep all of those colors, branding, even just their general message, they keep it all pretty similar. And so while we're not all huge major corporations and they have, giant marketing teams devoted to what they do, they do a great job of getting that message across. So that's something we're going to want to try to do too. So we're going to go with, I liked this one. This one caught my eye. Number one, it's got my branding colors. We usually go with the green, but that circular salad here, we can easily replace that with a pizza. So that should be able to be a good one. So with this, you're going to hit our brand option, and then you can hit your brand colors. And as soon as you hit that brand color, it switches it all over. And again, this is in that pro version, but if you don't have the pro version, I recommend finding your color and then keeping that color code somewhere handy to where you can always just plug that in and have that available. So if anybody wants help or with that, just let me know. You can switch it up too and say, hey, that's too dark or too light. Sorry, my dog apparently is not a fan of what I'm doing. So we can easily switch that up pretty regularly or pretty well too. Then we can always change up our fonts to match with, again, that consistent branding. So this, I don't think I've ever used that font. Let's switch that out. Oops. Right here. Yellowtail. And we'll have to switch that wording too. So let's say you don't like anything that you find in the template option. I think another good option too is also go into Google and then just type in like pizza lunch flyer, something super easy. From there, we can always hit images and then take a look at any of these things. This is pretty appealing to me. This is something similar that we normally have in our tap room, that dark, almost like chalkboard kind of background, white font, things like that. And then I always like to pull kind of pieces. And so for today, we'll take this one and kind of do something a little bit similar. Number one thing, if you are using Google Images to kind of get a little bit of inspiration, keep in mind, never, ever, ever copy paste from Google. That will probably get you in trouble in the long run, and that's something that we don't want. So if you're ever using Google Images for inspiration, just steal ideas, but don't steal actual images. We don't need any copyright infringement cases happening here. So let's go with chalkboard background. And then we're just going to drag that over. This you can always double click, move it around however you like, zoom in, zoom out, and then crop it to get that. Okay, next thing we're going to do pizza. When you Google an image like this, or not Google, when you search for an image like this in Canva using the Elements tab here, I like that it kind of breaks it down so you can use those cartoony things by hitting graphics, or you can use actual images right here. We like to keep it a little more on the real side of things, so let's look at a couple of different options. So that's probably the image that looks like they used here on Google. Oops. Okay, so for us, we're going to just grab something nice and easy, something like this. We're going to flip that over. And do something like that. And then, so it looks like it's got that logo up on the top. I think that's a great idea. I think that placement for the logo is fantastic. You always want your business to be highlighted no matter what. I think the worst mistake that I've ever made is assuming people know that I'm talking about Lost Way Brewery. Well, I love people and I love customers, but sometimes I can be a little oblivious to some things too. So we just have to pretend that all of our customers are going to be oblivious to this as well. So always add your logo somewhere visible. More easy to see too. So we're going to put that off to the side just for now, and then we can always move it around as we see fit. So it says, let's do lunch. And then you can put prices. One thing on flyers, you're going to want to put quite a bit of information, not overload it. You know, you don't want to have to be like, come in on Thursdays from, you know, with all of the words and stuff. People's attention spans are short, and we need to keep the message short and sweet, but also be pretty informative also. Let's do. So let's go in for text and add. Another cool thing too is you've got these font combinations, which are really nice. So let's actually do this. We're going to change up that color. And again, if you have the Pro version, you can just hit that and then change all. Now open for lunch. So when you do get these images or these font combinations, if it goes over like this, and this is something I learned the hard way, when you stretch it out, usually it'll kind of regroup. Just hit that ungroup option there, and then you can move them one by one. But today we won't do that. Okay, then move all these things over to the side. Actually going to so this background is really nice, but it's almost a little too dark. So we can move to the whiter side of it, but we can also mess with this transparency and drop that transparency down just a little bit. kind of makes your pizza pop up a little bit more. Whoops. There we go. So we're actually going to move this down to the bottom. Make that a little bit bigger. And then let's copy this part, drop that down. And if I'm going too fast for anybody, please let me know. I'm going to try to keep this. Oh, yep. So let's do Friday through Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Let's make this just a little bit thinner, closer together. And then that's a lot of words. So let's drop that down, just Friday through Sunday. And since we are a brewery, let's add a beer to the top left, just to kind of balance it up a little bit. That pizza picture is taken from the top. So just to kind of keep things in perspective, let's get a picture of a beer from the top. If you have stock photos of your own business or your own product, I highly recommend using those. Just again, it's going to keep that branding pretty consistent. You know, if you always have pictures that look like this, you know, that are dark and, you know, and then you switch it up to something that's bright and light like this, it's going to be, you know, kind of a little different. And most people aren't going to notice it or say anything about it, but over time, you will be able to be like, okay, this is something that looks like my branding, looks like my business. And that's something that you are going to want to notice, because your customers are going to notice that too. So let's switch this up. Actually, we're going to move this to this side. And then we're going to flip that and move this to this side. Okay. If you have a QR code, it's really great to throw those on, especially if it's going to be something for print that you're going to distribute, you know, throughout the town or end up in a couple of different locations. There's really great websites for creating QR codes that are free. If you have the Canva Pro account, I know you can do it on here too. There's an option there that says apps, and then I believe, yeah, here, QR code. And then from there, let's say we're going to throw in our QR code for Lost Way Brewery's pizza menu. So we're going to go to eat. It'll pop up our menu here. So this is what we're going to want to copy and then paste, generate QR code, and it automatically does it there for you. So let's drop this down and say, excuse me, something on the bottom that says like scan for menu or something. Add a text box. Oh, that's small. Scan for current menu. Okay. All right. So we've got that one that we kind of just pulled some inspiration from Google and did it through there. Let's close that. And then we have this one that we pulled from a template. So now let's edit this one with the template. Obviously, we're going to get rid of that salad. It's too healthy. We need beer and pizza. So let's keep that same. And with Canva too, if you go to search elements, it'll keep your recently used, which is really cool. Unless you start going crazy and, you know, trying to test out 1,200 different images like I've done in the past. And then you just have a recently used section full of rejects, basically. Let's see. Happy lunch. Let's switch this up. So let's say beer and pizza equals happy lunch. Why not? So let's off center this and let's move this to the right. And then let's search for an equal sign. Let's throw that. Okay. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that. Sometimes I always like to go back and be like, oh, okay. And then I didn't like that, or I do like that. Again, you're the person that is creating it. You are a customer at the end of the day, so you know what is going to grab your attention, what's going to grab someone else's attention. Since you're the marketing person, you're probably going to have a little more nitpickiness about it, which is totally fine. You want it to be perfect, so that's great. Let's say just like a quick summary, Friday through Sunday. Enjoy Billy Jack's pizzas. Enjoy Billy Jack pizza with a cold craft brew. And let's do 11:30 a.m. Okay. Now we're definitely missing something on this one. And one thing too is you can always do that kind of click, drag, select a couple of options, copy, and then click on the other page and then just hit paste, and it'll actually paste it right in the same location as you had copied it from. But we're going to move this to the top and we're going to have it centered on top of beer and pizza. Maybe just a little bit smaller. Perfect. Okay, so we've got two flyers, one that we created from Google Images and the other one that we kind of created from their template. Obviously, the one from the template was a lot easier, a lot faster. Really, honestly, is going to depend on how creative you're feeling at the time. There are definitely some days where we're not feeling very creative, and the templates are great to use for that. So from here, you can obviously print, download. I'm sure everyone knows how to do that. But the big thing is that we're going to want to schedule this content on a couple of different platforms. We're going to want it to be a Facebook post. We're going to want it to be an Instagram post. We're also going to want it to be an Instagram story or a Facebook story, and then possibly even a Facebook event cover. So we're going to take this image and we're going to move it around in different formats. So I've got a couple of links here that'll probably be pretty helpful to you guys if you are resizing things. But here's this cheat sheet here, and I can send this to Zoe or put it in the comments, and that way you guys can easily look that up. But it's a really great little cheat sheet. It'll basically tell you all the sizes for things. So, and you know, why you want to have it for those sizes. Okay, so let's say we're gonna do Facebook image sizes. So it'll tell you here, your post and timeline photos should be within these sizes. Your cover photos, and cover photos are kind of a tricky thing too, because it's going to look completely different on your phone than it will look on a desktop. So that's kind of what this helps out with. And then your stories are going to be that 1080 by 1920. So to start off with, we're going to turn this into an Instagram story, and that Instagram story and the Facebook story are both going to be the exact same sizes. So let's go ahead and go with that first. If you have Canva Pro, awesome. Easily just hit this resize button, and it's going to be one of the things, obviously it's something that I do pretty regularly. So you just check that. Obviously both pages we're going to want to do just so that way we can look at what both of them look like. It'll go ahead and tell you all of that. Copied and resize. There used to be an option where it would say like just resize or copy and resize. I always recommend the copy and resize. Canva is web-based, so you're not going to be taking up space by having it in multiple different sizes saved. But it's definitely a lot easier to turn around and get to whenever you see it in those multiple sizes. So obviously it's going to look a little different than when it was a flyer, but we liked the way that the black kind of went end to end. So whenever you're doing stuff like that, take this black, stretch it from end to end, drop this pizza down a little bit. And then I always like to leave just a little bit of space on the top, because when you're going through Reels, if you notice, if you have any type of caption, it's going to take up quite a bit of space down here at the bottom. So don't put any important information towards the bottom. Don't put any important information up here on the top. If you're going to have them click on a link to, view our menu here or something, if you're going to have that done towards the middle of the page. If it's done too much to the right or too much to the left, that can easily be like a skip. And so then it'll, get out of your story. We don't want that. So, so let's move this a little bit. There's only so much we can do with that because it is a big word, but we're going to give it a little bit of spacing. So let's center that up. And then let's go to spacing, letter spacing here, and let's just kind of spread it up a little bit. There we go. Again, keep your logo on it. I know it's on your profile or your Instagram or whatever, but half of the time when I'm going through Reels, I won't even notice who shared it. I'll be like, oh, what's this about? And then, so you want to keep that as big as possible, always, always, always on. And we're just going to kind of resize things a little or move things around a little bit just to kind of make sure that we are getting. So let's do this. Drop that spacing down. Oops, wrong one. Too much. Lunch, and then say one of the things that's probably underutilized whenever you're looking at spacing, underutilized in Canva, would be if you just highlight them all here. And then if you go into position, it'll actually tidy them up for you. You can space them evenly, all vertically, horizontally, and keep in mind, this here is 2 different images. And so if you do horizontally, that will all kind of get mashed over to the side. If you hit tidy up, it'll just kind of clean them all up and move them to a little bit. So let's look at vertically. It spaces them all for you. Horizontally pushes them all over to the side. Tidy up. Sometimes it doesn't really make a ton of, oh, it's because this is so big. But there's an image there. But that's one thing that kind of helps keep your sanity a little bit whenever you're working on stuff. So I would say that would be ready. It's consistent with the flyer. It still has all the same information, but it's just moved around a little bit to make it more appealing to the eye on Instagram. This one will do the same thing. Make that a little bit bigger. Drop that down. A little bit bigger there too. Obviously, we're going to get rid of this here because no one is going to scan a QR code from something they saw on their phone. And then Lost Way Brewery, make it a little bit bigger. So this does the same thing. It gets your same message across, keeps that same thing consistent, but it's just resized to a different dimension. If you don't have Canva Pro, we can easily just go back into your home and then we'll hit create design. And we are going to look at, you can just type in story, or if you you can type in story or search for it there. Oops, shoot, man, I'm getting mouse happy over here. If you hit this custom size right here, then from there you can kind of just type in those dimensions. And again, they're all on this cheat sheet here. 18 or 1080 by 1920 is what you would type in there. So if you don't have Canva Pro, this is going to be creating another document, but instead what we're going to do is we're just going to select everything on this image. Select it all, copy, and then we'll go into, click there, and then just paste it on. It's going to take a hot second for it to move everything over, and sometimes it doesn't move over that background. So you'll go in, copy, paste. Okay. So with this one, obviously we're going to move that to the back. This is going to take just a little bit more reworking, but really not a whole ton. And then from here, you'll just kind of move stuff around, delete the couple of things that we didn't need from there. Drop this down. I think that was in the middle. Make this a little bit bigger. Make this bigger. And make that bigger. So again, it's creating content without having to do something different every single time, because that does get draining, but keeping those things consistent. So yeah, you would just copy and paste for that. Okay. Before I finalize any type of flyer or social media thing, I always make sure that I have all of the relevant information on there. Okay, what is it for? What is your main goal for advertising this specific item? For me, it's letting people know that we're open for lunch on Friday through Sunday at 11:30. Okay, who's open for lunch? Lost Way Brewery. Date, time, all that information. Make sure that it has all of that. Every once in a while, I'll just turn around and look at somebody and be like, hey, tell me what information you get from this. And I'm sure all of my friends are probably like annoyed that I'm always asking them to double check my work, but you know, whenever you're flying through stuff like this, it's kind of hard to, it's easy to overlook things every once in a while. Okay, so we've got our Instagram and Facebook story up. If you can add any type of effects to it, especially if it is an Instagram story or a Facebook story, I would. The way when things kind of move a little bit, it kind of helps get people's attention a little bit more. So if you can even just make it pop, just little pieces here and there, I would say it's definitely worth it. So you hit that play and it'll just kind of pop up a little bit, but So if you can do that, great. If you have the time for it, awesome. If not, this is a great start, and it's a lot more than most people are already doing anyway. So don't worry about throwing too much animation on there. It's just something where if you're feeling bored, go for it, which I'm sure all of us are bored, right? Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to move this into a Facebook header. So right now I've got this one. But we're going to turn it into this now open for lunch because it's something I really want all of my customers to know. Anytime they come to my Facebook page, to my Instagram page, absolutely anything, they're going to see that. So let's move this one. So let's resize this to a, oh no, to a Facebook cover. Let me grab my charger real quick. All right. So now we'll open this design, and again, just move things around a little bit just to make it fit. Again, we're going to move that QR code because no one's going to scan it from their phone. This just a little bit here. Just a little bit smaller. The tricky thing about having information on your Facebook cover is it's going to look completely different on your phone than it is on your screen. So it's going to get, you know, some things here are going to get taken away. And I'll show you guys what this full image actually looks like when I created it on Canva. But you're going to see, you're going to miss a lot of that stuff towards the bottom. Let's see if I can find it. So this was the actual image that I created, again, using a template. I used this template here and just kind of dragged and dropped my own pictures in. Again, if you have stock images of your own product or your own business, or that is the best thing to do because all of these things are, you know, kind of consistent, lighting, you know, just the way we do it. And that's the actual image. So you can't see any of the things on the bottom here. So that's gonna kind of be the tricky part whenever you are creating something with words. For your Facebook event cover. So let's just do this. And actually what we'll do that a little bit smaller, drop that down. Friday through Sunday, 10:30. Ungroup these, and the only reason we're going to ungroup them is so that way we can make them just a little bit closer together. And then this, we're going to drop that spacing down. There, now we can make it a little bit bigger. We'll kind of center this. Oops. Let's actually put that in the center. And again, if you don't know what center is, position, center. But obviously the pizza there doesn't make it look very center, so we're gonna move it off to the side. bigger. Lost Way Brewery now open for lunch Friday through Sunday, 11:30. That same message. And then I think one thing that's good about like copying and pasting all of this too is that you're not having a typo. You know, I could have easily hit a 10 if I was retyping this information and then somebody shows up at 10:30. You know, I saw it on your Facebook page and that's why I did that type of thing. So copy and paste is your friend, especially if you're resizing a lot of images. Okay. This one, whoops. Slide that over. That. This is our Facebook one. We're probably gonna drop that off. And instead of happy lunch, we're just gonna say lunch 11:30 or 11:30 lunch. I don't know. Do 11:30 lunch. Let's actually drop this behind that. Pretty great. And then we gives us a little more room to make this a little bit bigger. All right. Just a second. Sorry, my 14-year-old boss of a husky needed to use the restroom. So, all right. Now that we've got this resized as a flyer, as a story, let's do one more as a Facebook post as well. So again, we're going to take it back to that original flyer. And then we're going to resize this to be, and then again on that cheat sheet, it's going to have what your Facebook post is going to, what you're going to want it to be. That 1200 by 630 is, I'd say, probably your best bet. So let's copy and resize that. Custom size. Let's change it to pixels first. And from there, we're going to do 1200 by 630. All right. Resize, open design. So this one's going to be a little similar to what your Facebook cover was, but we'll resize it. Move that over to the side. Again, keeping it pretty consistent, but not exactly the same. Let's move it back. And since this is a Facebook post, you're going to want the image mostly just to capture people's attention. You don't want to drop a ton of information on it because that's what we're going to actually put on the post. And the reason for that is when people search things, you're going to get a little bit better results if they're searching Lost Way Lunch when it's written in a post versus whenever it's written in an image. So that a little bit bigger. Always logo, always. Beer and pizza. Beer and pizza for lunch. And then Friday through Sunday, 11:30. You still want all the information, but we're going to keep all of this Enjoy Billy Jacks with a cold brew. We're going to put that in the actual Facebook post, not on the image. Bigger, there we go. All right. And then this one, same thing. So I'll open for lunch. Again, drop that QR code. It's bigger. Put that here in. And then I'm actually going to move this off to the side. Make this bigger. Okay, now we've got a total. We've got our flyer. We've got our Facebook post. We've got our Facebook cover, and we've got our story. It's the same thing, but let's do lunch flyer. Always rename them. It helps you now, or it helps you later down the road versus right now, and it takes just a second to do it. Lunch Facebook post. Lunch Facebook cover. Lunch Insta story. Okay, so now that we've got all of that figured out, obviously we're not going to be posting our flyer to Facebook or to Instagram or anything else. That is going to be for print, for you to have in your tap room, for you to distribute wherever you distribute your flyers to. But this Facebook post here, let's go ahead and get that scheduled to put. So I don't know how many of you actually utilize the Meta or Canva Pro. Obviously Canva Pro, you're going to have an entire section to do scheduling content. So if you go to like schedule, it's pretty easy to kind of look at that and see, okay, I want this to go out today at 7 p.m. or 2 p.m. and then boom, easily schedule it. The only thing about Canva Pro when you're scheduling things is that, let's say you got super motivated and you did a flyer for lunch, but then you also did a flyer for happy hour and then another flyer for, I don't know, we do trivia. So a third flyer for trivia. The only thing is that when you go to schedule this post, it's only going to let you schedule this first one here or whichever one you want, but then that second and third one, it's not going to let you schedule it if you already have the first one scheduled. I don't know if that really makes a ton of sense, and I'm sorry that I don't have the right words to say that, but it seems to work better if you copy and paste it and have multiple projects essentially, and then from those multiple projects, those are the ones that you go in and schedule. But if you would download them all and then we use Meta, we'll go home here, or actually planner. So we're almost out of time. So I'm just going to try to wrap this up as quick as possible. When you're scheduling content, there are going to be, and it's honestly whatever works for you. So for me, what works for me is sitting down and I devote a couple of hours of my day and say, okay, I know I worked on these events or these flyers last month. Now I'm going to sit down and actually push them out on all of these different platforms to get the most traction for them. If you don't have time for that, if you're more of a day-to-day person and you'd much rather take that 5 minutes to make that post off of an image that or content that you've created, absolutely do that. There's no rules to it. It's honestly whatever works best for you. So for the longest time, what worked best for me was getting like an actual physical calendar. And then I'm kind of a nerd, so I had things color coded, but you know, Facebook was red for me. And anytime I needed to do a Facebook post, I'd boom, pop it there, pop it there, pop it there. And that would be telling me, okay, today on my calendar, I have to do a Facebook post for this event. So having it scheduled out on a actual physical calendar like that is great. Set those reminders on your phone if you need to, or just take that time out and just schedule it right then and there. There are so many tools, and it's, you know, great. You don't have to pay for anything crazy. But let's say, okay, let's look at this one here. I did a Facebook post advertising lunch. But it tells me, you know, this is the amount of accounts that it reached. If that is a good number for you, or, you know, if you want to see more or less, then, oh, one negative feedback, then you would go off of that date and time. So I posted that Friday at 11. So that seems like a pretty great time to do a little post like that. So let's look at this one. Wednesday morning is also pretty great. And these are going to be stories. You'll see the stories, and then the Facebook posts, and then you'll see Instagram also. But it gives you feedback on all of those things. So if we want to go to create, we are going to add, oh, we didn't download that picture for lunch. So let's download. And then we'll go back into Meta. I'm going to add photo, upload, open. Okay. And then here's where we're going to want to type in all of that information. You can share that link if you want to, that had, you know, our pizza menu on it. So we're going to say, good news. Now open for lunch, and you're just going to want to reiterate that message. Las Vegas is now open for lunch, Friday through Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Start your weekend early and grab some grub. And local brews. In the tap room. Cheers. Okay, so you can hit that publish now, but we're going to hit that schedule. And then this is another great little tool. It's going to hit active time. So it's going to tell you what is the best time for you to be posting. So let's post it today at 7 p.m. because we want people to see it tomorrow, for tomorrow. We want them to make their plans today for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and hit save. Cool thing, you can also see what it looks like on your phone. And there we go. Now open for lunch. But when they see that flyer in the tap room, when they see that flyer at the coffee shop, when they see that flyer anywhere else, when they see the Instagram reel, it's all going to click in their minds, hey, I've seen this before. Oh, that's right. Lostway's open for lunch, or so-and-so's having a sale, or so-and-so just dropped a new product. You want to keep it as consistent as possible to keep your customer engaged. So get that scheduled. We don't want to boost it. I think I have to move this out of the way. There we go. Schedule. All right. And then it says there. So then let's go ahead and quickly schedule a we're going to do this on Facebook and Instagram. It should be a reel though, or not a reel, a story. There we go. Add media. Okay, I'm getting nervous because I'm like, don't run out of time. Okay, here we go. And we're gonna download. Second one, done. Media. There we go. So let's throw in a sticker on this. Well, not a sticker. Let's do a swipe up link. Do web link for we want to web link it to what our menu is. So they can swipe up to view the menu. And that's what will come up. So that's one of the things that I had said. Make sure that you have whatever's at the bottom up just a little bit higher to compensate for these items that you're going to be putting in. And then again, not too high because this is something that you're going to want to keep on there too. So that's what it looks like on Facebook and what it looks like on Instagram. All right. And then like this, active times. With Instagram stories and Facebook stories, I don't really worry too much about the active time. One thing, it shows for 24 full hours. And so after that, it's gone. It's not like a Facebook post where people can go back and look at it. So if you're doing a sale that ends like at 9 p.m. tonight, yes, I would put it on there, but make sure that you're saying it's for Saturday or for, you know, whatever day that you're doing it. So that way, you know, people don't come on Sunday and say like, oh, well, I saw this on Saturday. So we'll do it again for, let's do this one for tomorrow because we posted the Facebook page for today. So let's do that tomorrow, and then it'll hit up people Friday through Sunday. So go ahead and save, schedule story. And there we go. So I am going to share the cheat sheet with the pages and everything, the sizes, and this is going to have different sizes for everything. It's really great, actually. So it's going to have it for Facebook, X or Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, all of those things. And it's got some really great little information here and there too, just for, you know, what your portrait should look like. But yeah, if anybody has any other questions about Instagram or Canva or how to schedule things, feel free to reach out to me. All of my contact information. I think Zoe, you might be able to help with that if anybody is wanting it or needing it, but feel free to reach out. Jessica Kraus at Lost Way Brewery.
Yes, I will definitely include your contact information in the recording send out. So if anyone has questions afterwards, don't hesitate. Jessica's email will be in that. And then Jessica, if you want to send me that cheat sheet, I can definitely put that in the recording send out as well.
Yes.
Go ahead and wrap up. So thank you, Jessica, for presenting today and taking time out of your day to put on a great presentation. And as always, thank you to everyone that tuned in live and to those of you watching the recording. We missed you, but we're happy that you're watching it on your own time. If you have any questions, you can email me at zoe@grownebraska.org, or you can always call our store and any of our team members would be more than happy to help you out. We have some awesome upcoming training. So our next one will be September 6th. And that's with Maria Elena Duran, and she'll cover how to reach customers online with Google. And I will have the rest of her trainings up as well, actually, at the end of today. So be on the lookout for those. And then on September 21st, that will cover digital marketing insurgency, the rise of smart marketing protocols, and AI. So that one is also live on our website, and the September 28th one will be posted today as well. So feel free to scan this QR code to go directly to the upcoming training tab, or you can visit grownebraska.org and you'll see the little tab at the top where you can select upcoming trainings, and then you can see them all. We already have some posted for 2024, so we're kind of ahead of the game. It's only August and we already have January ready. So be sure to check those out. And then, as always, we love Google reviews, and if you're a Nebraska business, they greatly appreciate these too. So if you haven't visited Lost Bay Brewery yet, I highly recommend that you do, and you can also leave her a Google review. So feel free to scan this QR code, and it will take you to our Grow Nebraska Google My Business page, and you can leave us a review, and we would greatly appreciate it. And then save the date for Market Tech Conference 2024. It's going to be on February 29th, which is a leap year, so it's kind of strange. I know Jessica was there last year, and she more than likely will be here the next year. So if you haven't yet, be sure to visit markettechconference.com for more information. And we will be announcing the speakers soon. We're still lining them up, so be on the lookout for more information about Market Tech. We're super, super excited. And actually, if you're going to the Nebraska State Fair, we have some of our team members. They're currently setting up. The doors open at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We're in the Pinnacle Expo building. We have over 60 plus Nebraska businesses that will be featured, and we have some new goodies that they're just being announced for the State Fair only. So be sure to come visit us. We'll be there all 11 days. And we'll have lots of stuff to look at, and we would love to see you all. So thank you all again, and thank you, Jessica, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week.